Friday night saw Sale Sharks host Gloucester Rugby at the AJ Bell Stadium, with Sale Sharks eyeing up a possible 5th place in the table. Gloucester keen to keep themselves in the hunt of the mid-table pack. And it was a superb start for the visitors. A counter-attacking run from Gloucester fullback Rob Cook allowed Jimmy Cowan to poke a grubber kick through that winger Martin Thomas pounced on inside the first minute for the game's first try. Sale didn't take long to equalise though. Strong driving from James Gaskell, followed by quick hand from Cipriani, and Rob Miller was the man to crash over, 5-all inside the first 10 minutes. And it was Miller who grabbed Sale's second. Gloucester's defence too narrow and the fullback using superb footwork to barrel his way to the line. The home side back in front. But Gloucester equalised again through some superb quick thinking, which sent Charlie Sharples scorching downfield, and when Cueto opted to let the oval ball bounce, Sharples capitalised and got over for the try. Sale looked the better side for most of the first half, so they'll have been pleased when this rolling maul from the line-out surged over. Dan Braid the man at the bottom, and Cipriani's only successful kick of the half, making it 17-10 at the break. The second half continued for Sale with another forwards effort, and it was another try for Dan Braid as the home side secured the 4-try bonus point. Cipriani's conversion putting them 14 points clear. But Gloucester closed the gap, Freddie Burns notching up 3 second-half penalties to reduce the deficit to just 5. But with 2 further efforts going wide, he'll be frustrated as it could have been more. The last kick of the game fell to Sale's Rob Miller, hoping to notch up a last penalty for his side, but Nigel Davis will have been grateful that he missed, as it means Gloucester salvaged a losing bonus point. While for Sale, it's a solid win that keeps them climbing up the Premiership table, for the final score at the AJ Bell Stadium of Sale Sharks 24, Gloucester Rugby 19.
Northampton Saints travelled to Stanley Park to face Exeter Chiefs, hoping to claim top spot in the Aviva Premiership. Northampton had set their sights on top spot following Saracens' slip-up against London Irish earlier in the day, and they had an early advantage as Exeter were reduced to 14 men. Skipper Dean Mumm was sin-binned after being penalised for stamping on Northampton number 8, Sam Dickinson. The home side continued to play the game in the visitors' half and took the lead through Steenson's penalty after Alex Waller was punished for a high tackle. Saints were soon in front as Samu Manoa sent Kiwi fullback James Wilson over. Myler's conversion attempt hit the outside of the left post, with the strong breeze playing a considerable part. Exeter mounted a riposte, and after Steenson had missed a second kick, the fly half finally found the target to put his team in front. But they didn't hold on to the lead for long, as Northampton mounted a charge towards the home line, and Manoa kept his balance well to score in the corner. Myler again missed a tough conversion against the wind before Steenson brought the Chiefs back within a point after Salesi Mafu was punished for a high tackle. Northampton held the lead going into the break, but they were hit by a sin-binning just 3 minutes after the restart as Greg Garner carded Gigi Van Velter for an obstruction. After Dave Ewers was denied by the TMO, scrum half Lewis darted over the line. Steenson made the kick in torrid conditions to put the Chiefs 16-10 up with 25 minutes left. The home side were defending resiliently, preventing the Saints getting any momentum. But after a series of big scrums from the visiting pack, PC found a gap to cut through the Exeter rearguard. Myler kept his nerve to secure a 9th successive win for his side and send them to the top of the Aviva Premiership table. Final score: Exeter Chiefs 16, Northampton Saints 17.
The relative form of these two sides suggested a foregone conclusion at the Rec, but the expected outcome took a while to materialise. An injury to Carl Ferns in the warm-up seemed to unsettle Bath, and it was late in the first quarter before a Newcastle infringement at the scrum was punished by George Ford. By then, the England prospect had seen 2 other kicks blown off course, and 1 more went astray before the break. His opposite number rode the whirlwind more effectively. 2 successes from Phil Godman gave the Falcons a highly unlikely lead 2 minutes into the second half. Perhaps it was no surprise that Bath were out of kilter. Ferns had been followed into the treatment room by both Nick Abendanon and Rob Webber inside the first 10 minutes. And it was the fullback's replacement, Horacio Aguja, who finally stirred the home side to life, after Ford made impressive amends for his shaky kicking. A superb show and go made things easy for the Argentine. And after that try, a win Bath were making very hard work of became straightforward, as they suddenly remembered why they'd lost just 1 of their previous 17 games. 5 minutes later, scrum half Peter Stringer kept his forwards moving, before Ford came to the fore again, with the inside pass for Leroy Houston, who'd replaced Ferns in the starting 15, to dive over. The Falcons were now heading for a 7th straight Premiership defeat, but their defence was good enough to deny Bath the try bonus. The home side managed just 1 more score a minute from time, when flanker Francois Lowe burrowed through. So a familiar routine for the Falcons in the end. They've now beaten Bath just once in their last 18 meetings. Although coach Dean Richards saw reasons to be cheerful. But the exciting times at the Rec are rather more obvious, with a big signing in the offing. Rugby League star Sam Burgess was the name on everyone's lips, except for those of the head coach.
Sarries welcomed London Irish to Allianz Park on a blustery afternoon in North London. Even though the home team was shorn of several internationals involved in the Six Nations, they boasted a starting 15 containing no fewer than 304 international caps between them. And yet, in spite of this, the hosts were 3-0 down from the outset when James O'Connor converted a penalty from halfway. Irish were then put under a period of sustained pressure, and when Fergus Mulcrone committed yet another cynical foul in their own half, referee Dean Richards lost his temper and brandished a yellow card. Saracens punished their visitors with a try from Marcelo Bosch, the Argentines' first in the Premiership in Sarries colours, but their lead was short-lived. Matt Parr made his Premiership bow 12 years ago for Sale and has since had a spell at Saracens before finally being given a regular run in the first team by Brian Smith this term at Irish, and he rewarded the coach's faith with the first ever Premiership try midway through the half. Hodgson reduced the deficit to 2 with a penalty 10 minutes before the break, as Irish were again down to 14. Blair Cowan this time, the man going to the bin, and it looked as though Sarries would end the half trailing by this small margin in spite of playing into the wind. However, that was all to change in the concluding 4 minutes of the half, as Irish ran in 2 tries. The first was scored by Alex Lewington. After a charge down in midfield, the winger was released by Thomas O'Leary. And then from the kick-off, Lewington turned provider with some neat football skills, setting George Skivington free to score on his 150th Premiership appearance. Sarries mustered just the solitary try in the second period, courtesy of substitute Scott Britt. It was a first loss at Allianz Park in the regular season for Sarries, a final score on this occasion of 22-13 to Irish.
Harlequins welcome London Wasps to Twickenham Stoop on a blustery afternoon in West London. The game had started at pace with both sides trading early penalties. Carlisle with the first for the visitors before Evans levelled immediately for Quins after Wasps were penalised for not rolling away. The breakthrough came on 28 minutes as, after a considerable amount of time being camped on the Quins line, the Wasps pack drove relentlessly towards the whitewash, forcing referee Luke Pearce to award the penalty try. Carlisle added the extras to put the hosts 10-3 up, heading towards the half-hour mark, and the Wasps defence stood firm to guard their lead into the break. Botica slotted over a 50th minute penalty to take the score to 10-6, and with time ticking down, they got themselves ahead for the first time in the match, as their continual pressure finally told, with Smith touching down in the corner on 77 minutes. Much of it owed to their continued perseverance as, with the route seemingly blocked on the near side, the ball was switched out to the right, with Smith diving for the line. James Short also came across to make the tackle, but with the decision referred to the TMO, Quins were awarded the all-important try. And while Botica missed the conversion, it was still enough as Quins completed the season's double over their opponents with the narrowest of wins. Final score, Harlequins 11, London Wasps 10.